All right, guys. Next video is about suppliers. So 2.1.3, the importance of choosing suppliers, including the benefits and limitations of the supplier. All right. Remember that this is directly from the study design. So you must know the benefits and limitations of choosing suppliers. Okay. You have already seen this before. Okay. This is not new information. But it is something that you need to now know in detail. Okay, so when we are talking about suppliers, we are linking it always to the price, the quality, the reliability, the location, and socially responsible suppliers. Okay, so why does a business need to choose good suppliers? Okay, if the suppliers haven't arrived on time, it means that halts in production may occur, meaning that products aren't developed on time, customers cannot then purchase. All right. The quality, if the quality of inputs, so what actually is going into the business, into the products, are poor, then the outputs, what the customers are actually going to be purchasing, is also going to be poor quality. Okay. Remember, we want to be competitive. We want to have that competitive advantage. So finding the most competitive prices of suppliers means that we can actually sell our products for a lower price, which will bring in more customers. Reliability. So this one delivers pretty closely to timeliness, but we need to know when our deliveries are going to come. We need to know that the delivery drivers are keeping our products safe. They're not just throwing them around, because if they aren't reliable, it may result in late delivery, which then links to the timeliness. And the final one, location. Remember that if we source our supplies locally, it can be cheaper because of transport costs. We're then supporting the local community, which then links to corporate social responsibility, which we know is always a positive thing. All right. Okay, so price. The price of supplies, including the raw materials and delivery fees, must be a consideration for businesses. Okay, if businesses aren't thinking about that, then they're probably going to end up spending more money than what they need to. All right. The more a supplier charges for a business, the more the business is going to need to charge the customers, and therefore customers either may not purchase it altogether, or they may purchase it one time, do some research and find out that a competitor is selling it for a cheaper price, and then they will go to them. All right. So the price of products is a way businesses can increase their competitive advantage. So making sure their suppliers are considering their price in detail is, of course, going to be super important. The next one, quality. So we have already sort of addressed quality, but quality from suppliers influences the overall quality of the final products. All right. This is something that we look at this year, but it is also going to be something that we look at in year 12 as well. All right. Customer satisfaction is usually primarily going to be influenced by the quality of the good or service they receive, as well as the price, of course, and the service themselves. All right. If quality is not up to scratch, it can often result in no or few return customers. So you're not going to build up that loyalty customer base. It can impact on the business reputation if customers are complaining that the products are of poor quality, they're breaking really easy, they're not doing what you've advertised them to be. That reputation can be seriously tarnished. It can result in a lack of meeting business objectives. Okay, so we may not be able to make money, we may not have those sales that we want, we may not be able to increase our market share or our competitiveness, and it can actually increase waste. Okay, if people are constantly bringing back products because they are faulty or they're not doing what they're supposed to do, then that can have an impact. That product is most likely then going to need to be disposed of, therefore increasing waste. And then also linking back, if it's poor quality and that reputation gets out, there is going to be bulk product that won't ever sell. All right, again, resulting in increased waste. All right, reliability. So businesses need to select suppliers that can deliver the right quantity of inputs at the right time. Reliable suppliers can enable a business to produce goods or services on time and meet customer demand. Businesses form positive relationships with suppliers, as this can improve reliability. And they should enter into long-term contracts with reliable suppliers to ensure products will arrive on time, and you can also often secure a lower price. Okay, if you enter into a long-term contract, so you say to a supplier, I'm happy to sign a contract with you, I know that you are reliable, but if we're going to do business for 12 months, I need to get this product for this price for the entire 12 months. Okay, so it can actually save a business money as well. All of these kind of common sense, but making sure that, again, the customers are at the forefront of our mind. Okay, if you work backwards, if we can't meet customer demand because our production has had to stop, because our suppliers have been late with our delivery, that is then going to have a serious impact on our business success. Okay, because again, it can impact on customer satisfaction, loyal customers returning, and it can also impact on our reputation as well. All right, location. So suppliers that are nearby can enable a business to save money on transportation costs. Businesses that aim to choose eco-friendly may choose local suppliers to minimize transportation emissions. So you've got financial costs as well as environmental costs. Choosing local suppliers also promotes the well-being of the general community by creating more local employment. So if we look all the way back to Unit 1, the very first topic, looking at how we can contribute positively to the economy. And then finally, some businesses may choose suppliers located further away from the business, including overseas, to obtain certain inputs or access cheaper resources. Okay, so we do also know that often overseas there may be an abundance of resources, right? There may be an incredibly large amount of a resource in another country that we need to produce our good or service that we just don't have access to. All right. And we also know that often overseas inputs can often be cheaper. Okay. So selecting suppliers that are distant or overseas, though, can increase transportation costs and increase the likelihood of inputs arriving late or being damaged during delivery. So we do have to weigh up those pros and cons. Okay. So the cost of selecting suppliers in a close by location, obviously that can mean that the cost of the goods themselves can be more expensive. However, the environmentally friendly costs or the contribution to the economy or the impact on a business's reputation can then have benefits as well. All right. Okay, and then you've got your socially responsible suppliers. So we have sort of briefly looked at this, but again, I'm not going to repeat myself in terms of CSR, corporate social responsibility, but if you don't know the definition by now, you need to go back and learn it. All right. So it is important for a business to review its corporate social responsibility objectives when deciding on its suppliers. Businesses should consider how sustainable their suppliers are, and how they treat their employees, the environment, and the local community. All right. So that the reputation of a business can be positively impacted by the suppliers they choose to use. All right. So if a business is making sure that they are treating their employees really well, they're using sustainable packaging or sourcing sustainable raw materials, and trying to follow the local community's wishes as closely as possible, that can obviously have a benefit on the business's reputation as well as the supplier's reputation too. Okay, which obviously can lead to increased profits, increased sales, and it also can lead to increased staff satisfaction as well if they're supportive of the business's choices too. All right, so the benefits and limitations of using responsible suppliers. Okay, so benefits of using socially responsible suppliers is that we need to be responsible, considering the triple bottom line. Okay, so if we refer to the triple bottom line, what we are talking about is considerations of profit, environment, community. Okay, so if you are going to talk about the triple bottom line, you need to make sure that you have referred to those three. When suppliers are being responsible, that may mean that they are going to use environmentally friendly practices. So that may be recycled packaging, sustainable materials. They're going to treat employees well and pay them a fair wage. Just remember, okay, with paying them a fair wage, that means above the legal requirements. Okay, so going above and beyond the legal requirements. Okay, if you just say treat employees well and pay them the minimum wage, that could definitely be considered to just be the legal requirement. So they're not actually being socially responsible. Okay, so why is it good for a business to choose socially responsible suppliers? Positive reputation and gives businesses competitive advantage, as well as the fact that they are being environmentally friendly, they're being conscientious of what's going on around them, they are considering employees, people's rights and value, and the community as well. Okay, but then the limitation of using socially responsible suppliers, there really aren't that many, but often it's going to be cost. All right. In order to be socially responsible to your employees, you may need to pay them more. All right. In order to move to more environmentally friendly packages, you may need to pay more for recycled materials. Okay. So you can always sort of relate it back to cost. Okay.